there is a feature for animation that we need about controlling transitions from one state or the other. Like I have this blocked animation and, you know, it plays for a certain amount. But here, when I'm on an exit, the animation system goes to state on exit. If I do a blocked animation, it pulls me out of blocked and into on exit too soon. And the reason for that is because we don't have a way to say, hey, if we're in blocked and you tell us to go to on exit, don't do that until a certain time. And we'd had some email conversations back and forth about what's the best way to represent this feature. And I realized that actually the best way to do it is to expand on something that we already have, which is we have this ignore thing. So if you're blocked and we get an active message, it's like, yeah, ignore that, just keep playing blocked. Well, we could say ignore, you know, if you're in blocked and you get an on exit, ignore that until a certain time in the animation, right? So I think that's what we do. I think we go, you know, I think we just want to say ignore on exit until 90%, right? And then we don't even need this time clause here, right? We could do this. So if we're less than 90% of the way through the animation, the 90% is just my test. I think it was 75% in his example, but we're doing 90 just to make sure it works. And then we'll tune it back to 75. Yeah. So we're just going to make that work. Do I believe in randomness? You're going to have to define randomness for me to answer that intelligently. Has anyone played Dreams? I have not, but I'm looking forward to playing it at some point. How 7 billion humans compares in difficulty to Exapunks? Well, the part of 7 billion humans that I played is tremendously easier than any Zachtronics game. You know, so Zachtronics is like a game for programmers, and 7 billion humans in Human Resource Machine is like a game for teaching people how to program, right? So it's a different thing. Okay. So we're doing easy tasks today because I've had a slow day. But then again, these are easy tasks that people have been waiting on. So we're going to go into our ignore command. Well, everything about ignore. Okay, so we have an ignore Boolean that gets set if we're supposed to ignore this animation. Ooh. Maybe it's not ignore. Okay, so the problem is if we get that message telling us to go to the exit state, we don't really want to ignore it. right? What we want to do is delay that transition until a certain time. So we're going to need to do two things. I'm going to make it we're not going to make it ignore. We're going to make it something like this. Wait until that describes exactly what it does. And now, of course, if we're waiting on something and some other message comes in, then I guess we should pay attention to the other message. Maybe that could be a flag on this, but you know, we could pay attention to the other message and so forth. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. So instead of ignore time, we're going to say wait until, right, and we're going to where is none defined? Oh, it's right here locally. I see. None time interval. Wait until. Yeah, okay. So we're not even going to do this. We're going to use this because we already have this thing for having a time that's a scale factor, right? Okay. Now, let's do the parsing part first. So we do wait until oh no. There's just all sorts of dumb, okay. There's all sorts of dumb stuff coming up in my head here about this. It doesn't matter. So this code that I was going to edit is like, it's actually parameter code, like when you say this, these are like command parameters to this, but that's actually not where we want to put it, even though that is the code that we kind of want to refer to for making this arc. Okay, so here, ignore, let's say wait until, then we get a message name. Message ignore until go state exit 90%. Okay. Oh, wait until, not ignore until. Wait until. So we get the message in the RHS. Okay, we got the message name. If there is no RHS, then we say, let's say warn, because we made this error routine and I don't want to have to type all this out every time. So we're going to warn handler, comma, missing wait time. Okay, so let's go to this. So we do warn. There we go. So we do that, and we'll do that. Oh, and it's not the same arguments. Message RHS. Okay, let's do other warnings. No other ones, okay. So if we're missing the wait time, otherwise, we get string to scale factor from message RHS, right? If error comma okay. So otherwise, we want to say add arc. If arc, then arc.condition is arc.wait until arc dot time 0. We're going to ignore time 1. And I think that's it. Is not used in this case. Blah. And then I guess we'll check for junk. Except I mean, maybe we want to allow people to put comments at the end. I don't know. If If I'm going to report this a lot, I should have my own junk detector. That's what she said. Okay. So okay, so if we're here, so we're going to have a loop here, and because this is an easy integer, check. We're just going to skip everything that's not a condition wait. And then if it's equal to, well, if it's not equal to the message, continue. That's a string compare, I think. Now, well, let's just say print. We're going to make that easy. Easy to see by printing it 10 times. Okay. All right. Whoops. Was that a warrant? All right. Well, let's see if that parses. Unknown command, wait until. Okay. I made a wait until. Why didn't we? (8:49 p.m.) We're running it. Unknown command, wait until. What are you talking about? It's right there. It's literally right there. I hope we don't have some kind of a bug in our switch statement. Oh, we mistyped it. It's wait until. Wait until. Until. I'm sorry we can't sit rep today. There's no sit reps happening during this stream because we simply cannot do that. I'm sorry. All right, block. Hey, we got to wait on exit. Awesome. Okay. Now it's firing in a weird way because we didn't actually return when we said that. So, okay, we got to wait. And then we return. But before we do that, we will say m dot oh. if a wait is not ready, because we have to test the time, then we do this. We say m.waiting arc is arc, and we return. So I don't know if we even have arc. I guess we do, because we use it up here. Okay. Is a wait ready? Well, if channel.current time is less than target time, return false. Oh, well, let's just return channel.current time is greater than or equal to target time. Great. Okay, wait, that tells us if wait is ready. We'll even call that here. What the heck, we're going for it. If wait is ready, m state if m.waiting on arc. I think I called it something else below, but we'll fix that in a bit. So if that wait is ready, and go to, yeah, waiting on arc. Switch to node. Oh, we don't want to do switch to nodes. We just want to resend the message. Okay. Okay, so now we need to add this. Okay, and then when we reset, and then when we go switch to node, Okay. Send message, graph state, message, default node name. Okay, hopefully that's optional. Let's check. Yeah. Okay, so oh, that's reset for state, not reset for graph. I declared identifier player. Okay, how do we get that? I don't know if we have that information from those parameters. Oh, yeah, we do. Target time. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here, we haven't done this part yet. Okay, so we'll say target time is arc dot something, I forget, and then okay. What were these called? Condition is, all right, time 0. There we go. Really, you know, I could have made it more fields like these, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know which is cleaner. Target time, declare that puppy. Okay. Boy, this is a hassle. More of a hassle than I had wanted. Okay, we go here. Boop. I don't know, maybe it worked. We got a wait, but we didn't ever fire the wait. Right, so now we're never in state active, or we're never in state exit. Bummer. We gotta wait. Okay, we don't need to print that 10 times. Let's print it 3 times. We're just getting less noisy. I just wanted to make sure that we see it. Well, okay. Well, this seems like a really large number. Okay, this is weird. The duration of the animation is 2.1. Oh, because we're getting a, okay. I bet we have a when done of like 0.3 that's kicking us out of this state. Yes, 0.33. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that if we're waiting on something. If okay, that I just put in was an extra little thing that probably isn't relevant to our current situation, but whatever. So the problem is, you know, I'm demoing animation, but we have all these little frame hitches. Those are happening because we're loading assets the first time they're needed. Like, so animation is, it looks hitchy and skippy, but it's not actually. It's just that the game is freezing. So we'll take care of that a different time. Hey, it worked. So I don't know why it did blocked twice though. That was weird. Maybe maybe we're sending the wrong message, even though, no. Why are we going into, did I mess that up? Okay, let's make it 75% now. So it's like what? We'll comment or just delete this print. Why is it playing that animation? When we say message resend on exit, it like doesn't go. Oh, because, okay. Let's see what we do when we hit that wait until this, okay. So remember we did this 2-pass thing. If the wait is not ready, we say we gotta wait and return. That's not happening on the resend, and it shouldn't. That's fine. So now we go here and we don't set accept. Oh, wait. Right. So we're hitting, that wait arc has the same message on it. Okay, let's go here. So this wait until arc has this on exit message on it, which is the same one that this is on. Once we're done waiting, we want to hit this one, but we're not hitting it because we're seeing this one again and we didn't continue. So it's like, well, yeah, it's not the right action. Okay. Now her ponytail flies up in a ridiculous way. Because that's in that other animation. Okay, so that's fixed. Let me take these out, these stupid prints. Okay. That's a victory. So, added animation keyword wait until. Let's not really add this level right now. All right. And then I'll send a mail to the team. Whoops. Until a certain time that we discussed is now in. Let's wait until human.animation graph to see how it's used. Here's how it works. If get a message. When the time comes. However, if some other message causes us to switch states, in the meantime, then we forget the wait until message. If we have a wait until message pending, we ignore when done. We ignore when done because we already have somewhere else to go. Right now, right the second when I am writing this email, if a when done is, or if a wait until is very close to the end of the animation, or if the frame rate is super low, we might miss the resend of message. This seems bad. Actually, no, that won't happen. Never mind. You know, because weird things probably happen if you set. Okay. I'm going to send an email about that off screen, just for basic email hygiene. Are there any questions about what we did? I didn't get this into the copy buffer correctly. Okay. Don't look at the chat. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're having a postmodernist in chat saying categories aren't real. Yeah, don't get me started on that. I mean, while literally true, the way that idea is used is usually wrong. Uh-oh, wait, now, okay, there's race discussion. Yeah, great. Great. Just what we need is a whole bunch of... I'm glad you guys are so interested in programming that you're talking about race relations and Israel. Boy, here I was thinking we would do a programming stream that would be really programming. Oh, okay, you're not postmodernist. Well, that's good. You just came in to ask a question about Unity. Oh, great. Okay. It at least seems like a discussion that hasn't totally devolved into everybody just yelling at each other, so that's good. If it does, then I don't know how we're going to have to handle that. But can I explain this messaging system really quick? Sure. So it's basically just a state machine. So here, when you see a colon, that's like the beginning of a new state definition. So this is a state definition for active. This is a state definition called active to walking, which is a transition. So if you're in active and the game says, hey, we're going to walking, then it says, hey, go to this state, but blend the animation over 0.2 seconds, right? And here, this state defines what animation to play, right? Each state can say what animation you play, what the movement speed is, acceleration parameter, what state to transition to when you're done. The star here, if you ever see a star before a state name, it means invoke pose matching on that transition so that instead of transitioning into the beginning of that animation, you transition into whatever matches the pose the best. And so there are various messages that get sent by the gameplay system. There are a bunch for walking because we decided that, we want to know if you're turning to the left and walking a square or whatever for purposes of animation, or if you're turning around. So we have all these. The one that we're going to work on next is that there's this character, the Bard, who can charm people. And, well, there is that. I don't even know if that message gets sent yet. But we're going to do a thing. We're going to do a thing. Uh-oh, someone just said you're a perfect example of what's wrong. It's okay, hold on. Do I have to time out somebody? You know, if I go over to the Elite Frequent Flyer Lounge, there isn't any discussion like this happening over there. So if you want a nice, high quality, quiet area, you can join the Elite Frequent Flyer private Platinum, Copper, Palladium special safe space lounge. You really like the poem about the calf path. Your coworkers like it as well. It perfectly describes the C++, Java, and Linux communities. Not only those communities, like basically all programming since 1970 at least is like that. Thank Casey. I didn't know about that poem. Sitrep, how is error null handling? We don't have any error or null handling right now. So I don't typically, here's the thing. People say, one of the reasons that people say you need exceptions is because code turns into mostly error handling without them. And I have two things to say about that. One is that's not really true for me. I don't ever have that problem. I don't know why. I mean, I guess it depends on what API you're using or something. If the API is really horrible, then maybe that's a problem. But thing number two is the following. Handling errors correctly when they can happen is the job of your program, right? If you don't do it, like, you can't pretend that they're handled because somebody threw, right? That's just not how it works, because, you know, different kinds of failure require different action. And do you want to handle all those different kinds of failure far away from the site of the failure or close to it? You want to handle them close to it because that's the code that knows the most about what to do. So it doesn't make any sense. I mean, for all the other reasons that I've ranted about exception handling also, but it doesn't make any sense to me to say that that's the best way to do it, you know. Hummus says that best error handling is assert 0. Dude, that's even worse than talking about Israel. Assert 1, okay. Okay. What were we doing? Oh yeah. Okay, so now I want to do a thing where I want to put the bard and the fighter in a, oh, we're going to start on anim test, which is a level that I made. And let's put, whoops. Let's go here in the game as well. Let's put the camera a little more up so we can see what the hell is going on. We're gonna get the bard, who's the person who charms people. We're gonna put her here. We're gonna make her be the first person to go. Fighter is second. Great. Reset. Oh, I didn't save the camera. There we go. Okay, so the question is, let's put a little block in there. Whoa. We have an animation crash. Array bounds check failure. Maybe not animation related. Let's see. Whoops. Editor crashes get priority always, because those are things that content people could run into. So we have to metadata UI pages. Somebody had 0 pages? What? I don't know what happened. Okay. We're going to have to keep an eye out for that one. It's too bad I was not running a debuggable build. We had been editing to turn order. Ah! Okay, we need to fix this. So we were on page 2, and then I don't know why switching to a rock when we started on page 2 caused this, but oh god, I don't have devinv. All right. All right, because I don't run the Visual Studio command variables anymore. Okay. Dude, nice white window background. You can tell nobody at Microsoft ever attached a process. No, I don't want to attach the process. I want to run this. Oh, God. All right. How do I just run this executable not from the command line? God damn it. Does anyone know how I do this? How often do I have to use a debugger? Not that often. Oh my God. They have all this giant UI, and doing the most basic things is not only not any easier, open file didn't work. Dude, I don't know what to do. If I drag an exe here. Fucking. I just want to debug this. You know, all these people say, oh, IDEs are great because you can't do anything without them. Start it and attach to it. I don't want to start it and attach to it. I want to run from the thing. God damn it. All right. I want to run from the thing just like you do when you run it with the command line. Maybe I'll make a shortcut that puts it on the command line. All right. So we did this. We did this. We did this. We were on page 2 and we went here. Boom. Okay. So index is 1, right? Or 2. So we're on page 2. Currently viewed page. Okay. I don't know why we haven't hit this. When I really, this must be a newly, hold on. Before I just type this in, I don't, there it's clamped on line 294. One for the flags page. Oh, I forgot about, okay, this is confusing. How is this correct? What, wait, okay, wait. We have this flags page, which is supposed to be like index. This is index 0. This is like index 1. Okay, hold on. God, this is so annoying. I have to scroll. What is going on? I'm trying to do work here, Microsoft. I started this process myself. Holy shit. They just keep making Windows worse and worse. I don't know what to do anymore except switch to Linux, which is itself a giant disaster. Oh my God. The amount of time I spend rebooting and updating and having it not let me do things like write to folders that I own in theory and like, oh my God. Like what is even... Starting it again. I mean, why is this instance of the debugger not good enough for some reason? I'll start this one. Run as administrator. Why did that work the first time? And if your job is to run a debugger, why don't you run as administrator by default, asshole? Jesus. I don't know. All right. This video is not going on YouTube. Start from debugger, file open project solution. That's what I thought I did the first time. Oh my God. Dude, I can't even do Windows anymore. I don't fucking know. So I couldn't show you guys this before, but we have our new attempt at character highlighting in. Let's go to a level with a bunch of characters. So you see how one of them kind of goes more black and white when it's deselected. So let's say, I don't know, let's get a good multi-character. Here we go. So I think we still need a little more. I think we want to like outline characters or something, but you know, it's a little better. We're working on it. This is pretty good. Although, so this is like, so now, you know, we have a sort of data-driven shader system where we have to animate this guy. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. You write that down. Oh, that looks awful. The unlight mapped tree. This is pretty weird looking. Yeah, so it's pretty good, except for the druid is a little bit weird. Let me send an email about that. Actually, let me see. Let's go to some of Maya's levels, because I just want to see some of the non-super colorful people. Okay, so she's in that cyan color. It's not too bad. He's not bad. So it's really just the druid. Except for the druid, who actually gets more attention grabbing when he is inactive, because he goes really dark. Could be. More brown. Or else wait a little until more stuff happens. I think we could still use something like an outline. Active character. Or in the extreme, something like a circle under. Okay. Okay. Sokoban certainly did not always look like anything. I mean, did I ever show anything when it was 2D ugly sprites? There might be some really old archival footage. Okay. Anyway. This little note sprite that goes over his head is going to have to change soon. That's a remnant of really old things. It's just showing that he's charmed by the bard. And so he's moving. He is not, however, moving in an animated way, and that is because that's what we're going to work on now. Oh, wait. No, we're not going to work on that because we forgot to fix this situation. So we did this. We're on page 2. We do that, we crash. So why didn't we clamp? Like, we have this clamp up here. Pages. One for the comment page, one for the flags page. So there's a -1 is the flags page. So this is wrong. Maybe somebody changed this. Maybe I changed it. The flags page is -1, so it is included in the left side of the clamp. Before I save this, I want to SVN blame that to know what's going on. SVN, they should call it SVN, this person is fired. Which it's probably me, let's be honest, but 293. Yep, it's me. So I am fired. It's okay. It's okay, because as you guys know, I've been building up my career as a pro gaming streamer and gaming YouTuber. So once Blackout comes out, my career is fully into gear. Wait, why aren't we drawing page 2 here? Wait, what? So didn't we have 2 pages here? Hold on, now I'm confused. Oh, geez. All right. So what's going on is somebody else uses this variable for something else a little bit later on, right? Yes. Okay, so -2, -1 because this is an array index, -1 for the flags page, which is included in known pages but has an index less than 0. Wow, this system sucks. Why did I do this? Someone is fired. Yeah, sometimes you do something that's just like seems reasonable at the time. And in reality, I don't know, maybe this will be fine because it doesn't really touch that much. Okay, so we have our pages. I'm on page 2. Hey, look, it clamped me to page 1. Boop. Boop. And I should probably later like save whatever page you were on if you switch back and forth between different types, but we don't do that right now. Okay. Fix an editor crash. No data check-in. Actually, we'll do the data check-in separately. Okay. Level data I'm playing with. Check that in so we just don't, because it's error prone to like keep stuff checked out and keep de-checking it all the time. Oh, did someone gift a sub? I don't think Blackout is pay to win, is it? Yeah. I don't like pay to win, just like most reasonable gamers don't like pay to win. So only available as a rare loot box item. That's a bummer. No, like microtransactions for cosmetics, I'm totally okay with. Although even then, those aren't that great. Like what I really liked, so in PUBG, they had this event pass, right? For Sanhok when that map came out. And there was some items that you could only get by doing missions in the event pass that involved doing hard things. Like you had to chicken dinner on Sanhok to get this pair of sunglasses that I have, right? And so anytime I see someone with those, I'm like, oh, they probably chicken dinnered. I mean, maybe they bought them off Steam, right? Or traded them. But, you know, I would like it if the game had a bunch of stuff like that, where it's like, hey, you see somebody wearing a certain thing and you know who you're dealing with, right? It would be cool. It would feel good. I don't even mind like doing the combination of both of those. Like, hey, not even everyone has the opportunity to buy this thing, but if you do something cool in the game, then you get the option to buy it for 99 cents if you want to. That's fine. All that is fine as long as it's not pay to win, right? As long as it's only cosmetic. Have I played Dota 2? I played it a couple times. It's not my kind of game. Not my kind of game. Okay, so we are gonna add, instead of doing the message sending thing, okay, here's what we're going to make work. We're going to have this concept of variables now that we're going to add. And there's going to be a variable for whether a character is charmed or not. And this guy's going to start out not charmed, right? He's over there. So this highlighting for some reason doesn't work. The cool character black and white that I showed you doesn't work in x64 backend for some reason. I don't know why. So it's off again. So, you know, here he's not charmed. Here he's charmed. I guess I'll just put her one square closer. And we're going to want to test a variable. And we're going to want to be able to say our animation is different if that variable is true. So we're going to like kind of add an if statement, but it's not really going to be a statement. It's going to be a conditional that can go on select items. So we're going to do, for example, in state inactive, which is this one. Let me figure out. So we're going to say the animation is inactive normally, but we're going to say the animation is charmed idle if charmed is true. We're going to have to do a bunch of stuff, and we may not get this done tonight because I'll get tired. But like right now, we just have one pointer for the animation on the guy, but we're going to need to have a bunch of clauses for like what the animations could be. So it's going to be an array of things. We're going to have to parse this. We'll start by parsing this. And then again, we'll probably put this on all these. So like the message dispatcher will probably be able to have an if, right? And so forth. We're just going to start doing it. Okay, right, so animation tag is the current thing, and we're going to need to change that. Right now we ignore. variable name is going to be a string. Condition is going to be, or comparison is going to be a comparison enum, and constant, it's always going to be a constant on the right for now. I don't know, maybe it could be a variable later. And someone's going to say, why don't you just use your own programming language to do this thing instead of writing a little parser? And it's like, look, dude, you don't want a whole programming language here. The whole point of this is it's a very domain-specific, very constrained thing that can be evaluated very quickly and specifically and be validated and so forth. So, yeah, we're writing our own little thing. So the constant is a constant value, which is going to be a struct. So constant value is going to be value type is an enum of Boolean integer so we're going to have the ability for these, right? And then value is a union of there we go. Comparison is enum equals 0. Say is equal, is not equal, is 1, is greater to, let's get rid of the is, less. Okay. Okay. Right, okay, because these are declarations, we actually need semicolons there. Okay, that parses. All right. I'm going to say success is parse if clause. Remainder. We'll just say if remainder. Loop over several thingers. Okay. Otherwise, we got an if clause. Okay, now we have this animation tag thing. And we're going to have to mess this up. So we'll say frickin' animation animation. Let's call it potential animation tag. I don't know. I don't know what it should be, right? Tag is a string. If clause is an if clause, right? And then we're going to say okay. And then this comment is going to go here. And then we have to fix everybody who assumes there's only one animation tag. Oh, the Discord sync. People are subscribing. Let's do that. Server settings. Integrations. Force sync. 85 subscribers. Wow. The Elite Lounge is hopping. Full of elite people. Is there a benefit to having nested structs like the graph node relationship? Why aren't they on the same level? I don't know. I just did it that way. This one doesn't have animation in front. I think maybe I felt like node is so generic that I didn't want to name it that, but like arc, yeah, I don't know, man. It doesn't matter very much. Set rep, we now have 5 factorial subscribers. Okay. When am I going to add emotes? Hopefully never. I don't know. Maybe we'll add a couple if you think there are emotes that add value to the discussion. I don't know what those could be. So my first goal is just going to get this to work again before even doing the if clause. Okay. So this is the thing. When we go to actually do something with the if clause, we're going to do it here. Okay. This is no longer a thing. Well, okay, wait. Let's put the if clause will say if it's enabled. If, okay. So well, let's just do this. Do this. Potential animation tag is the wrong word. Array add node.animation tags potential tag. Okay, so before we do that, if this doesn't have an if clause, let's just make sure that there's not somebody else with no if clause. For current other animation tags error cannot have two animation tags both without if clauses. Current tag is previous is. Let's just give the node name first. And then the other, it's just called a tag, not animation tag. Okay. Okay, just a simple check. And then we add it anyway. So we've got our if clause. Well, animation tag. Who else? Okay. So for just do it. Free there we go. Okay. So we post-process that. Okay. So this is really the only thing. So tag is evaluate animation tag for the destination That's the node. So instead of having one tag, before we could just say destination.animation tag. Now it might have many. So we evaluate that. Based, I don't know. Let's just pass these all in the same order. Error evaluated could not get an animation tag. Okay, so we already switched to this node actually up here, so this just means we won't do anything. So now evaluate animation tag. Just going to copy all this. Sorry for that microphone bump. So we're evaluating an animation tag. We're going to say, for m.animation tags, return nothing. And we're just going to say return it dot tag incomplete. So we're not actually going to do this condition yet. We're not even going to do that. We just want it to work like it worked before. Destination. We just, and we forgot to do this part. So this is not destination.tag, this is just tag. Tag. Parse if clause. We didn't ever parse the if clause. You know what that's going to be? It's going to be nothing for now. Do we have like a, yeah. Oh. All right. We decided not to do that because the if clause itself has the bool. All right, do we explode horribly or can I walk around and stuff? Well, I seem to be walking around and playing animations. We're hitching when we load, but after we do enough animations, we shouldn't be loading anymore. So that's great. Okay. Great. Can we expect an Exapunks stream of the new stuff? What new stuff? I'm done playing Exapunks. What are you talking about? Hi, Casey. When did the whole sitrep thing start? It started when I was playing Blackout and the guy kept saying sitrep every time the circle changed. So I understood that in order to be a serious military person, you have to say sitrep. I'm learning. Games are educational, Casey, and I am learning from games how to correspond in a precise and concise manner. You know what I'm saying? If I say situation report and then the situation that I'm trying to report, that's too many syllables, right? The concision of saying sitrep is just very valuable in this kind of a situation. Every time there's a loading hitch, it should play a quote from the movie Hitch. I never saw that movie, perhaps thankfully. They just released an update to Exapunks with new puzzles. Yeah, I mean, I don't like Exapunks as much as the other Zachtronics games. So I probably won't do it. I mean, I'd rather go play the new Opus Magnum puzzles or something. It's not that it's a good game. It's just not my favorite. It's not particularly good. Yeah, I presumed that for some reason. Okay. So we have the ability to do more than one tag. Let's just start parsing this thing in the stupidest possible way. We're just going to go boom. So now it should complain about junk on the end of the line, right? Yeah. Junk on line, the only valid thing right here is an if clause. You might say that is an if clause, and you would be correct, except that we don't parse that yet, right? We're just returning false. So we're going to say result. I guess if we get down here, we'll just return a separate dummy, whatever. Okay. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. So left keyword. If the keyword is not if, then we say return false dummy, because it's not an if, right? Otherwise, variable name, remainder, wait, break by spaces. Remainder 2. Oh, we should pass the handler. Because that has our error context. Handler unable to parse a variable name in an if clause. Return false dummy. Okay. Actually, we don't need the dummy because we're not going to write anything. If we get down here, this is success. Okay, compare. So if we didn't get a comparison, we say error handler invalid comparison in if clause of whatever, comma, comparison string, return false results. Okay, so if we get down here, we're going to say result.if clause.enabled is true, result.if clause dot what were we called it? Variable name. Result.if clause dot constant is constant. So we have to fill out all these things. The nice thing about typing all this stuff in advance is now the compiler will error on us if we don't provide the things. So for example, you might have been saying when I was typing this, what the hell is comparison string? And the answer is I haven't typed that in yet. But I just wanted to blast through this, and now we have to fill in the missing pieces, right? So comparison string remainder 3 is break by spaces remainder 2. Missing a comparison. An if clause. Okay, right. And then constant is going to be a, well, constant string or constant. We're just going to do the same format for all this. Actually, let's pass the handler. Parse constant can complain. And actually, we'll do that here. Parse comparison already reported an error. So we pass the handler so it can do that. And this is going to go down here. Okay, so we have a comparison string. And constant string is just going to be remainder 3. And we parse a constant. Okay. That's our jam. Success. So we need that, and then we need a parse constant. Is, what did we call it? Call it constant value. Right now, we're only going to do Boolean constants. And we're only going to do, well, we'll do all the comparisons. Okay. So if s is equal to all these things, we could put the success second, and then it could be a default return value, but we won't. We'll return 2 values every time, even though that looks spammy. Case equals, oh yeah, we're going to using return true equal Look, this is basically handmade compiler. Sort of, not really, but bet you didn't know you were in for that today on this stream. So we're just going to have to go back to parsing comparison operators. So this is a thing. So I decided that I don't like in this language the implicit CC++ enum increment. And the reason is because if you're going to serialize stuff, you want stable numbers, and typing in the numbers is more likely to not have disasters, right? Because if you go and change the numbers like I just did, you're going to at least think like, oh, those are in files, right? Or you hope. Yeah. And the problem is it's tedious to do this, but maybe that's an editor function anyway, or maybe you just don't do it that often. So I decided I want invalid to be 0. There's no reason it has to be, but it is. Okay. And we said that we would error invalid comparison S. So that's our parse comparison. So for parse constant, we're going to say if S is equal to case true, result is a constant value. Invalid constant, whatever, comma, S. Well, if it's true, we will say result.value type. You know what we have to do? We have to do this unary dot operator, right? So instead of typing this all the time, and instead of having to use namespaces all the time, you should just be able to do this like some other languages do. I don't know if Swift does it or somebody does it, but if you say like this, you know, it'll just mean like, look, in the namespace of this thing that we're assigning, it's just this name, right? So that'll be cool when we have that. But we don't have it yet. So we're going to do this. Result.value bool is true. Return true result, right? And then there. Oh, we don't use colons here. What language am I programming in? Wanted text file handler. Really? What? That's weird. I'm getting hungry. I wish I'd ordered some Uber Eats, but it's kind of late for that. Oh, text file error. Oh, that's what's going on. Wait, what? It's a handler. What am I doing? Why did I type that? So at some point, I'm also thinking of adding implicit cast from pointer to dereferenced pointer. And you might say, oh, but what if you crash? And it's like, well, in debug build, we'll insert an explicit check before we do that dereference, right? Because it's just stupid to have to do that all the time. Mismatching levels of indirection. Same thing. Okay. So we had this by value, and we take the pointer. Why? I don't know. If clause is not a member of if clause. That's true. If clause is not. Okay. Who knows what even's going to happen? Well, we parsed it. Let's print it out. Okay, it's an if clause. The variable name is charmed. We test if it's equal to a Boolean true. It all worked the first time. Isn't that great? We can just keep buying more islands. It can be like Britain in the 1600s. You're going to trigger some people, Casey, if you start talking about colonialism. You know what I'm saying? Okay, are there any questions about what we just did while I heat up some warm tea water? We're going to keep going for a bit and make sure this actually works. But questions about animation or by islands? I'll be back in a second. Do I ever drink iced tea? That is what this is right here. It doesn't say iced on it, but that's what it is. Okay, back in a second. No questions? Let's check the private elite frequent flyer Swank Lounge. People are talking about Vulkan in there again. And Rust and Vulkan. The Snapple count as iced tea. I don't know what's in Snapple these days besides sugar. Well, I guess there's no questions, so Do a 2-minute summary. Oh, I already did a summary earlier. You can go back and watch it in the VOD, except that I'm going to have to delete the VOD so I don't get Twitter mobbed, man. So. Dude, who made this bag of pistachio nuts hard to open? How much do you have to pay for me to play and finish a JRPG? I don't think I have ever finished a JRPG in my life. I have not played very many. I'm pretty sure I have finished none. Why would I get Twitter mobbed? Because I think freedom of speech is important and critical to being able to program and engineer well. That's why. Have I read The Coddling of the American Mind? I haven't, but it's, somewhere on my to-read list. Dude, I have so many books in a pile back here to read. Why would you guys want to watch VODs of programming when there's VODs of sick chicken dinners in Call of Duty, man? No, I didn't delete a VOD. No. Except, I swear I had one more chicken dinner than I've posted, and I couldn't find it. So maybe the VOD magically disappeared. I don't know what's going on. Sit rep, we're getting back to work now. Okay, so we parsed an if clause. Now, Well, we just put the clause on the tag. Let's see if that passes. Well, okay, let's still print that we parsed it. We put it on the tag, and then hopefully this error doesn't trigger because enabled is true. And then let's see. All right, well, that's fine. Where was our if clause now? If charmed equals true. Okay. So now this won't do anything yet. So we have to decide. I think what we should do is kind of like IP chains or something where the rules get evaluated in order. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, we go down the list and whichever one matches first matches. So here, we do that, otherwise that. Okay. So evaluate animation tag. If it.if clause enabled, we evaluate the if clause for m state. We'll pass the destination because why not? Right, and if it's not true, well, if it is true, return the tag, else we would just return the tag. Right, okay. And, you know, if there's an if clause and it's not true, then we just loop to the next potential animation tag and evaluate it. Righto? Righto. So okay. Evaluate if clause. For now, we're just gonna fake it and say always true. There we go. He is charmed because the if clause is evaluating to true. He is dancing to the music. I don't know why he stopped. Oh, because his fidgets. He has fidgets that make him stop dancing. Well, the fidgets aren't implemented, like, or if they are, I mean, maybe there's animations for them, but I haven't put them in the graph using this variable. So it's just tripping over to the idle fidgets. I'm not going to worry about that right now. It's not part of what I'm worrying about. What I am doing is this. So when we evaluate the if clause, we will say, well, we're going to say variable is evaluate variable m state destination if clause dot variable name evaluate variable should have reported an error. Okay, so now if variable dot value type is not equal to if let's say constant, let's give it a short name. We'll just say C is if clause dot constant. Variable dot value type is not equal to C dot value type. Log print evaluate if clause error variable is of type whatever which does not match Okay, so in node destination name of graph m.name variable whatever, which is if clause variable name is of type variable.value type, which does not match c.value type. Return false. That's just going to spam us in some cases, but it's fine. We have deduplication on error messages. Yeah, fidgets. So usually if you just have a looping idle animation in a game, it gets boring and repetitive. So often you drop in other animations, which are sometimes called fidgets, that just have your character do something else for a second. So he's not just standing there forever doing nothing. So yeah. Okay. Okay. So we do that. Does this parse? Evaluate variable. Oh yeah, we haven't done that yet. Okay. Okay, so we're just handling Booleans right now. Okay, if variable dot value bool. Oh. if comparison is equal to whatever case well, equal, not equal, these are the two that we want to handle. Otherwise, log print, evaluate if clause, error, comparison. We have to say graph. Known.name, destination.name. Okay. Error. Comparison is not supported for Booleans. Is not valid. It's not a question of us supporting it, it's that it's not valid. Okay. Whoops, should not get here, cleanup. Okay, so if it's equal, we say return VB is equal to CB, and if it's not equal, VB is not equal to CB. Okay. Evaluate variable. All right, so we're getting there. We're getting there. Evaluate variable. Node name is a string. We're just going to evaluate this every damn time. If name is equal to whatever, case charmed, or here we say variable error unknown variable whatever. Okay. If we're charmed, we say e state dot entity. Wait, state. Yeah, state dot entity or c state dot entity of charmed. Result dot value type equals result dot value type dot boolean. Result dot value bool equals c return results. All right. Attempt to pull too many values from a procedure call. Oh. True result, false result. C dot. Can't I just do this? Yeah. I hope. You starting, you know, I haven't necessarily stressed unions that hard. So maybe there'll be something broken about this. Anonymous unions. Undeclared identifier comparison. Undeclared identifier value. I deleted the wrong thing. Deleted the wrong thing. All right. Okay, what is comparison? Comparison is if clause. It's just my short little name. Whoops, colon equals. What am I doing? Okay. Assert failed in deep copy. Oh dear. Ha ha. Ha ha. So when we copy an animation graph to another one, we use this routine called deep copy. It doesn't know how to copy this stuff that we gave it. Damn it. It can't know. So now, I don't know why that didn't trigger before. Oh, no, it's the anonymous union is triggering it. I see. Shoot, though, is this going to handle arrays correctly and everything? We're a little bit playing with fire because deep copy is not super well tested, but I think it's that it's an anonymous union. Let me see what it's complaining about. Probably the anonymous union. I don't know how it would be anything else. Well, I guess I have to do this and attach. I don't want to retry. I want to break in the debugger. Ah, god damn it. All right, now I really have to figure out how to do this. Maybe I did file before. Oh, it actually worked. Okay, so you have to say project, not file. Your executable file is not a file, it's a project. Okay. So we're doing deep copy and info struct is constant value. And the member we're complaining about is value bool. This is wrong. Okay. This is a compiler bug. So we have to fix that. I'm putting it on the list though. For now, we're going to make it a non-anonymous union and hope that that works. If not, then we'll make it even a struct, because it's not really. Oops. It's not really something we want to rat hole on, even though we must fix it. Did that really build? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, it's not a value. Oh, there we go. Okay. He's charmed. Now, there's a couple weird things about this. Where one is we don't... Here, let's make a situation where we can easily scrape the guy off. Okay, so we charm him. So now his animation doesn't switch right now to charmed because we don't switch yet if it changes. We have to do that. But when it loops, I guess we reevaluate, or I don't know. Anyway, but if I go to active, you're not charmed when you're active. And then I'm going to go to inactive, and then it'll work, right? So, yeah. And the arms crossed. Let's see if we have stuff for fidgets. And actually, let's make sure that this works. So we should be able to do this. Yeah, see, so now he's charmed. So he doesn't do it because we changed it to not equal. Now he's, yep, there we go. So now it's opposite day. And that should also work that way if we say equals false, right? Same thing. All right, so he's not charmed. And he's going to go into that animation. No. Oh, wait, sorry, it's the idle animation, not the active. There we go. Okay. But then we charm him, and now he won't, right? Yeah, so it all worked. This is great. And we're gonna support double equal and single equal as meaning the same thing. That's because that's how it is. Okay. Now what? Okay, so we could have okay. So every frame when we update, if the animation we should be in changes based on variables, we kind of want to be able to trigger a transition, but we won't do that yet. Okay, regardless, okay, so if somebody doesn't define a transition, then we want him to start doing that immediately. Okay, hold on. Let's look at the fidgets for a second. There's no charmed fidgets. We could ignore, okay, let's do this in pieces. So we're going to add ignore. We're going to be able to ignore states with an if. Let's do that. Okay. So this is going to be an if clause. When we parse and ignore, otherwise, that's it for that, I guess. And then when we evaluate this, Now remember, if clause is not enabled, which it isn't by default, then we return true. Okay. Is that the only handling? Yeah. Okay. So evaluate if clause was M state destination arc.ignore if clause, right? Yeah. Okay. So maybe that all just works. Maybe we just don't fidget. All right, he's dancing. Is he going to stop and fidget? Yes. Damn it. Oh, unknown variable nothing in Bard. Wait, what? We're going to have to do that. Why are we getting an unknown variable? Oh, shoot. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. This is printed out. Can't get the right window. Okay. We're just not ever setting it. Well, we are, I guess, setting it, right? These are all charmed equals true. Let's get rid of this old one, the one on animation. All right, so but we never get to here. I mean, it's enabled, right? Enabled is true. Wow, I'm suddenly getting tired. Going on midnight, but I want to finish this. I want to finish this. Okay, I think the answer is going to be in this unknown variable error message. Oh, we started to do something. Yeah, I don't know. We're never... Oh, we did ignore it. Wait, do ignore is false. Charmed equal true. Enabled. Do ignore is false. Really? Oh, but that would be on the Bard. So the problem is we're printing these messages out for both the Bard and the other guy. Okay, let's debug the unknown variable thing, because that should not be happening no matter what. Okay. Unknown variable, whatever. Evaluate if clause. Enabled is false. Do I check this at the wrong time? I guess we deleted that when we filled this in or something. Dude, I don't know. That, I thought we had that. Pretty sure we did. Maybe we deleted it. I don't know. Okay, well that's very simple. That probably doesn't fix our other thing. Yeah, nope. He's still doing the fidget. The fidget is him turning his head left and right, but it assumes that he's standing in his inactive pose, right? Okay. Gonna make this easy to spot. Message and state.entity mesh name. I think that's what we do. Yep. Okay. We never even check. Maybe I put him in the wrong place. Oh, right, because it's Duh. Goes there. So we hot loaded that. So maybe it works. Yep, we're ignoring it now if you look at the text down there. Oh, I forgot to turn on my eye tracker for today. Dope. I should have known because there aren't people asking every 5 minutes what the dot is. All right, well, this is good. So we can selectively ignore messages if variables are true, which is going to be good. See, so now he's not charmed. Now the bard goes here and he is charmed. But that only happened, that transition to charmed only happened because he was doing his 2 idle. If he's already idle, whoops. If he's already done being idle, then now it doesn't happen. Whoops, sorry. Now it doesn't happen until he fidgets. He'll go into a fidget. Oh, except that we ignore fidgets now when you're charmed, so it'll never happen. It'll never happen. So we're gonna now, the last step is just gonna be reevaluating your animation. Or okay. So I can either check to see if the animation changed every frame, which might be a little bit annoying and expensive, but only if you have a lot of guys animating and they all have a lot of conditionals on their current node, which probably isn't the case for this game. Or I could do a thing where I say, if a variable changes, go to a transition. That's probably better. That's, however, more machinery. Kind of tired, but yeah, these are not motion capture. These are hand built. You have a phantom tile that disappears sometimes. Yeah, we have a rendering bug, at least one rendering bug. The rendering engine got rewritten and it's got some kind of a problem now. I've ever seen Mike Acton picked apart public game engine code. It's really bad. People do all sorts of stupid stuff. I'm sure. Do I have a pretty print function for structs? Can that be done generically? Well, when you print a struct, it gives you all the members, yeah. And that is generic already, yes. If you don't like the format, you can make one for your own format. Okay, question. Do I go to bed and finish this in the morning? Or do I do it now? I think I send an email with the current functionality, go to bed, and then I think I do the new thing in the morning. So let's draft the email. I've just added some basic variable checking to the animation system. It's preliminary, and we will need more, but I wanted to check it. So far, the only variable is charmed, but we can add whatever they think would be useful if they are well defined. These if clauses are only are supported on command by command basis to commands that support if are animation and ignore. Human.animation graph, you will see as mentioned in that comment, you start at the top of the list and pick any animation statement that is the first that matches. So if you have one without an if clause, that will always be used. So in this case, we use the charmed idle animation if charmed is true, otherwise we use the inactive animation. The other command that supports if is ignore. I used this to ignore fidgets because we don't have charmed fidgets yet that I could tell. It's possible they are on disk, but not in the animation graph, or that I just didn't see them. Well, we only do Boolean values, but we'll do others in the future. and say R if charmed is false, if charmed minus true, if charmed is not equal to false. Also is the same as that. For similarity with other programming languages. Okay. The one obvious hole in the behavior right now is, as we discussed previously, if the warrior is already idling, we need to transition him into a charmed animation, and right now this doesn't happen. Anything else that causes him to leave state inactive and come back? I could have added a facility to reevaluate the animation every frame. Based on the if statements, and we can do that if that seems useful, but this wouldn't necessarily allow us to add transitions, which seem important to add character for things like this, going from inactive to charmed. So I think the next step would be to add a new command if a condition becomes true. So for example, we just say charmed there we go. So many states. State inactive. Other stuff deleted for brevity. Go if charmed equals true. Blend 0.2 or whatever, right? Let me know if that makes sense. Using this, we could set things up as they are now, where there's a whole slew of charmed states, but my hope is that we can cut down, is that it makes sense to cut down on those and have a simpler graph that is easier to think about by changing the animations for the normal states like inactive and to go to special charm states only for transitions. So for example, right? Hopefully not, but yeah, no. Okay. So I will send this mail out to some people. Good thing Gmail logged me out. That's what I always wanted, was a mail client that logs me out. Compose to, well, the animator, and boom. Let me check it in before I say I've checked it in. Oh. Before we check it in, you know what we have to do, actually. Okay, first of all, I should have commented these things out. Let's make sure. Oh, let's get rid of those ignore if clause parse things. There's several things we got to do. Okay, we comment that out. We run this, and you know what's coming now if you followed this stream. Whoa, there's new levels. A lot of the new levels will fail tests because they do weird things that the gameplay code doesn't totally handle well yet. Oh, you know, one of the other reasons why our hitches are bigger is we doubled our animation sampling rate, and we just load, we don't do curve fitting on animations, so we just load straight up samples, and those are longer. So every animation load takes twice as long as it used to. And there are more animations. But it goes smoother like once things are loaded. Anyway, we're going to let this go for a bit. Any final questions before I go to bed? All we're doing, the stuff that we did shouldn't affect gameplay at all, so we're just checking to see if this crashes or if it succeeds. And then we'll go. Oh, sorry, yeah, I turned up the desktop volume because we were gaming. Yeah, Ruby is very slow. It's a very slow language. It's so slow, even web people don't even really use it anymore. Oh man, YouTube logged me out. Frickin' YouTube. Mind a language question? You can go ahead and do a language question while we wait. We've gone back and forth about the idea of implicit functions that are called whenever a variable is written to or copied from by getters and setters. Do I have an opinion on that kind of feature? I've thought about it. The thing is, you could, in principle, already do that with a metaprogram. So the question is, how important is it to support other than that? And I don't know, because I've never tried doing it with a metaprogram. I don't know what the drawbacks might be to that approach. I would rather, you know, like some things I build into the language, even though you can do them fine as a metaprogram, just because it's better to do some things in the language because you get better error messages or, you know, whatever. It's more supported by the type information system or anything like that. But once you start getting into kind of wacky stuff, it's maybe better if you bake it yourself, right? Because then it can behave exactly how you want. You could even only insert stuff sometimes, you know, and so forth. Wow, I'm getting hungry again. Let's have some beef jerky. And some peanut snacks. Are there other concepts I want to incorporate? Yeah, there are a couple. You'll see in upcoming demos what they are. I thought about writing some small test programs to test the compiler that implement hypothetical whack stuff. We do have such test programs. They haven't gotten too wacky yet, but that's part of the plan, is to do that. Oh, up to June again. Wow. We've got enough levels that we do June. Or maybe it's because we sleep when I'm not talking. The question is, do we get to serious business? I don't think we will. We'll see. Dude, Maya added like 75 levels to the game. It's crazy how much she added. Have you ever seen monads used in Scala with 4 comprehensions, or the way the result class is used with the question mark, construct, and rest? No. Hey!
Telling the truth can be bad news.
Telling the truth can be bad news. Telling the truth can be telling the truth can be good news.
Telling the truth is a bad idea.
Telling the truth is a difficult problem.
Telling the truth is a scary. Telling the truth is a scary predicament.
Telling the truth is a bitter herb.
Telling the truth is a dangerous tunnel.
When you get out of that tunnel, you've got
it's
bitter
a black
herb.
life ahead. Forget herb. I never heard of a hit that had the word herb in it.
Telling the truth is a dangerous
Dangerous.
Telling the truth can be dangerous.
What? Danger. Telling the truth can be danger. Telling the truth can be dangerous
business.
Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Why?
Well, sorry you don't get to hear all of Dangerous Business. Maybe someday the game will be long enough that you will. It was Dangerous Business. Look it up.